Hello, everyone. It's Cheryl Millett here. Yeah, just kind of coming on board here. Was gathering some things around. I guess it's going to be a somewhat like more show and tell today. Why not? With a couple of other educating points here that that I can bring forward to you people. You know, Live at 5 really is bringing forth, yes, lessons, experiences, but primarily education. And some of what we can say about education is picked by the people who choose to educate you on whatever they decide for whatever reason, right? We have to question, we definitely have to question. Some of what I'm saying this is because you're going to see more and more movies that bring to light various positions on the way to eat, maybe the ideal diet, what diets ain't good for you. And there definitely seems to be, when I watch them, because I choose to watch these movies, I figure I can't speak to them if I don't watch these documentaries. One of them that I watched recently is called The Game Changers, and this is a number of elite athletes changing from whatever diet. You don't really get to know what kind of diet they were having before, but in some inklings, you're learning that definitely it's processed meat. Maybe it's hot dogs, maybe it's hamburgers, maybe it's any of those things. And the Game Changers, they switch to more plant-based diet. They don't call it a vegan diet. And I'm not quite sure exactly what all those foods are either. So lots of questions and lots of things that they kind of bring up that are not, how can I say, not ideally very clear. And this is where questions I would be asking is, where's this research? I want to read it for myself. I've got to better understand the whole thing about it. But I did find, strangely enough, going to this site that was another friend sent me. I've got to say, so appreciative and grateful for people that send me these movies, these articles. Yes, I might not get to them right away, but certain things around that they might have watched that they've liked, and I just kind of get to explore it. So there was this other video on a documentary that's on fat that I have to pay for it. So it's either going to be iTunes or Amazon or something like that. But when I was reading the description on it, it reminded me of some other videos that talk about fat. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But the idea, starting is, there's going to be documentaries about health. Have there been? Yes. Today, more? Yes. Tomorrow? Yes. There's going to be. And there's these various positions, and I'm not quite sure. The timing of these things going to vegan seems to be more timing on more processed foods. And you've heard me talk about this time and time again, that it doesn't matter what diet you go on, there's going to be an unhealthy version of it and a healthier version of it, and everything in between from one side to the other. I'm going to do a little show tell, because I did say I was going to do some show and tell here. And also, did you all bring your sense of humor today? I'll bring this up next after I talk about this whole issue here. But hi, Diane. Hi, Angela and Debbie and William. Hello, hello. So let's see how clear this comes through here. But the one thing you've got to recognize is there is processed foods, and what's kind of coming out now that's going to make everybody feel good, that whole feel good, the marketing that's going to come into play, is healthier processed foods. Let's be clear on this. Let's be really clear on this. What's the definition of healthy food? Now, healthy food is, you can tell what food it is or where it came from. You understand. You might have ground nuts, but they're ground nuts. Maybe you make your own peanut butter. But This one here cuts the cake, takes the cake, as they say. So I'm going to show it here, and I'm going to show specifically the label on it. But this is a very highly processed food turned into a healthier version of this processed food. And with this category of food, it can be done very easily, but many categories can, from bread to pickles to pop to chips to you just name it. All those processed foods can be, and they can actually be, take it one step further, be labeled organic, or they can put a little bit of something in it, like a flax or a something that we deem as a little bit more fiber or a little bit more nutritious, something like that, or add in, these synthetic supplements, nutrients, that kind of thing. So here we go. Let's see, make sure I can see it here. So here we go. There's that label. So this is Fruit Loops. I don't think anybody here will argue that Fruit Loops is a highly processed food. But on the top there, with the lovely little sun, no artificial flavors or colors. But this is a healthier processed food. It doesn't change that it's not a processed food. Now, I can't tell you, it says natural flavors, but I can't tell you what those flavors, where they come from. I can't. It doesn't say it, and that's what you're going to see more and more on labels. You're going to see things like spices, natural colors maybe, but I notice with natural colors they're putting turmeric, natto, like they are actually putting some, and even some cases, parsley. They actually put some of the names. But spices, you're going to still see a number of them. We're going to say just spices, and we have no idea what's kind of in there. But if you're okay with a little bit healthier, great. Everybody's going to feel better with, these highly processed foods, a little healthier. But that's not what we want to get to, right? That's not what we want to get to. So these movies, just back to quickly before I show you a couple of other things, these documentaries that are coming out, I have to be very clear that many of them seem like they have an agenda, number one. Number two, we're never given the details. We're never given a lot of details on it. So I have a lot of questions around some of them. And it's not, anytime people get into kind of bashing, saying that all of meat is bad, the meat industry, and they're not clarifying that the processed meats, with all the processed stuff, with all the unhealthy maybe chemicals or medications, those kind of things that are in it, they're not just talking about, they seem like they're lumping everything together. And that is crazy, because it's not true. And the mere fact that I remember, and this would be years ago, I'm just going to bring this up quickly, was the fact that there's not too many animals on the planet that are vegetarian. Now, let me clarify that in a big way. We know the gorilla. We know the bigger the animal, they seem to eat a plant-based diet. But here's the thing. They don't just eat a plant-based diet. They eat plenty of bugs and insects and bacteria, healthy bacteria. I mean, how many foods do we have today? I'm not going to put this in a highly processed category, but I'm going to put this in your mind as planting a seed. The foods, many of the foods that go into the grocery stores are, the water. If you just take the water that many of the people that would buy in the bottles, whether it's the ones delivered or whether it's the small ones, is iodized, right? So imagine it going through some sort of an X-ray it's almost like pasteurization is to milk. Pasteurization, almonds, right? That was a big thing where people didn't want to have X-rays machines or I'm gonna leave it that, iodizing. So they're, the foods are almost like made sterile. That's what I would say. So what you're doing is, through that whole process, is clearing off the the thing that kind of grows in all of our environment here naturally supposed to is the small microbes, bacteria, that kind of thing. And most people wonder why they have a crappy microbiome or digestive system is because much of the food that we have, even the whole foods, they are washed with chlorine, in water, like the baby, so-called baby carrots that they take a big carrot and they make it into several baby carrots. I thought that they were baby carrots, but they're not. And that's an old story. But the idea here is our food is more sterile, and we get it. We have to get it because the foods today come in big trucks. They are stored in places. They are stored. They transport them, and the long distances, people are touching them and stuff like that. So let's get that, why they actually do have a lot of this processed food. It's mainly to sterilize them. And that's no different. If we have to get into the fat talk, the fat, vegetable oil, organic vegetable oil, sunflower, it doesn't really matter. They don't really put this on there, but if you see refined, you're going to know that it's refined, bleached, and deodorized, RBD, with a few other steps sometimes in there. And this is really taking the vegetable oil, or let's say the seeds, because they're seed oils, and putting them through heat. So call it refined, nice fancy word for it. Bleaching, so you have the lightness to the oil, right? It's not darker. What did I say? RBD, bleached and deodorized, so the smell is gone. And this is the industry, the food industry, because fats are lubricant. So you can imagine putting food through, how can I say it, through tubes and through containers and stuff. So if you have the right amount of fat, these vegetable oils, these highly processed vegetable oils with these foods, they go through the machinery that much quicker. They go in containers that much quicker. They heat up without sticking to each other that much quicker. That's why your raisins, if you check raisins on the shelf, it will be raisins most of the time plus vegetable oil, so they don't stick together. This is important, people, because fats are one of the things that they'll try to blame on cardiovascular, and they just try to blame cardiovascular on the game changers on protein. But the idea is that fats are the lubricant to our body as well. Yeah. So when we think about fats and we think about our skin, we have to think about how things move around in our body. And the one aspect of fat is the fluidity that our body would have, our membranes within our arteries, our veins, all of that is really helped by the fact that we have fat. If we did not have fat in our body, in our diet, what does that mean? I mean, just straight up, very simple. It means that we're going to be dry. We're going to be dry. And how many people have dry skin, right? How many people have things that I would say are similar to that? Rough, bones, joints, ligaments, like all of these things can get stiff and dry. And do we actually relate it to it? And inflammation is a whole other story. But think about processed foods, that the oils that go into that, because if they're not processed, then they actually will go rancid. That's a natural feature of oils, is they will actually go rancid. The more liquid it is and the further away that it goes from animal, it will be can go rancid quite quickly. So fish oil would be one of them. The vegetable seed oils, especially flax oil. But we are talking about the balance between omega-6 and omega-3. There is difference. And we are talking about, in the case of seal oil, it is a mammal, and it is highly polyene, so it's liquid in the freezer, liquid in the fridge, but yet it's quite stable. So fats are interesting. As a science teacher told me about a couple of years ago, when we were having a discussion after the walk club, that fats are unique. Fats are different proteins things, sugars, are very similar to each other. They do convert all of that, and they're made of the same things, and they are what they are. But fats are unique in the way that they're structured, in the way that they are so different and can't convert to each other. So fats is a whole big story, but healthy fats, the whole real fats, be it healthy olive oil, just spent a bit of time helping a friend and working there. The good olive oils you want to keep in the dark. You want to keep out of the fridge, perhaps. You want to keep, you open a bottle, smaller the better, finish it within several months anyway, that kind of thing. You don't want to heat it. It's no different than RBD. If you're making foods with fats, throw the fats on afterwards, after the food is heated, and allow it to melt within the food. It'll give it flavor. It'll give your nutritious fat content that you're looking for in your diet, because quite frankly, processed means nutrient weak, nutrient poor foods. Never mind the vibration of the foods. Never mind the fact that when we process foods, we may eliminate the fiber from it as well. Or, we don't take the whole food and all that it's meant to be together. So when you watch documentaries at the end of the day, watch them, but take them with the grain of salt. What I'm hearing, more and more people will watch these videos and they'll get into the climate change thing as well, and they'll get into, I'm going to try it, and I'm going to say most people aren't going to really know how to discern what questions to ask, and you could be doing more harm to your body by not understanding what it is. Give up the processed foods, absolutely, but just changing from the vegetable oils is going to be difficult. And I tell you, probably some of those foods that were on these shows had some of these highly processed plant-based foods in there, from vegetable oil to wraps they had on there, those kind of things. So here's some food here, and it's when we think of some healthy fats, one of the healthy fats that I believe in, because you got to understand also that fats really allow the absorption of other nutrients in the body. It goes hand in hand. The fat-soluble vitamins are found in the fats, and those are the A's, the D's, the K's, the A, D, E, K, and some other things as well. But the idea is you don't need to remember all of these things. You really just need to focus on good quality ingredients. So good quality olive oils, I'm not going to say everything is easy to find, or right there in the same store you go to. In fact, olive oil is a whole other thing to learn about, where they've been spiking the olive oil and being caught for it. When I mean spiking, what they do, like you spike a drink, what they do is they take some of the olive oil, if that, and they'll mix it with, let's say, the cheap oils, the cheap vegetables, because olive oil is more expensive. So they'll cut it with something else, just like they do with those street drugs, right? They'll cut it with something else. And I've actually heard, as far as they'll actually, depending on the coloring, they'll perfect it. Why not? I do the same thing, trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. I think they put in some green coloring. I think the only way the guy who spoke about it from Acropolis Olive Oil to kind of find out is through the smell taste. The smell, not taste, smell. And when smelling the olive oil, you're going to smell a chemical, or it's going to seem a floral, maybe not that one, but there's chemical like a perfume, maybe something that's going to kind of not hit, the smell, sense of smell. And so, you got all these things. But here's grass-fed butter. And this is one of my favorite, I'm not going to say it was my favorite brand, but they won awards, but grass-fed butter. But again, be careful, people, because the idea is certain things are not necessarily immune. You could be buying organic olive oil, and they could be using, they could be spiking it or something, with organic vegetable oil. Organic refined bleach and deodorized oil of any such thing is what you don't want. So anything where you see vegetable oil, soybean oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, they take it and do all that crazy stuff. So you can have this big jug. I don't have one to show you. This big jug of oil that will sit in your cupboard and not change at all after months and years. And if it's true about McDonald's sitting under people's, what do they say, car seats forever, a year, 2 years, whatever, French fries, and not changing their shape at all, not breaking down, well, that's not nature, because nature would break down. That's a good thing. Something oxidizing is a good thing, and breaking down is a good thing. That's nature. That's the whole cycle of life. It's really, really good. Now, something else I wanted to briefly show you, but very quickly. We talked about, and I will talk about continuously, about dental health. I don't know, it's going to be too small, but I'm going to show you the jar. This is nature's breath freshener. So depending on, you're going from meetings, parsley can too, but this is so much easier to take with you. Sometimes I put them in the bag and then bring them with me, because I don't mind it. Is actually whole cloves. Let's see if I can get the light here. Everybody knows what cloves are. So whole cloves. So it's been around for however long, probably centuries, thousands of years. But cloves, when you put them, so you'd soak them, probably under the tongue would be the easiest thing, and they'll soften up. So whole cloves soften up with your saliva, and then you would gently kind of chew on it a little bit. So you don't want to swallow it, and then when you're kind of finished with it, it'll kind of bring out this. So this is actually anti-inflammatory, antibacterial in the mouth. So if you have anything going on with dental health, you can actually even steep some of this and drink it and swish it around the mouth. Even the seal oil, the raw seal oil, is antimicrobial. It has surely helped a lot of people with their gums. So their gums are inflamed, this whole periodontal disease. Sounds like a big name, but it's actually just gum inflammation at the end of the day. But it can get serious where the teeth get loose, and then people are having issues chewing their food. They can't chew hard things. They can't chew crunchy things. And it can just get so soft and so loose that it's very difficult for them. So out come the teeth, and come the false teeth, that kind of stuff. The other thing, before I go into the sense of humor scenario, so hello everyone, the blood of Jesus Christ saves sinners. Well, how do we get that there, Fred? It's kind of a statement to make. Here's something else that I got a gift from a client. Is, well, you're not going to be able to tell what it is, but it is some soap. But the idea again is herbs, and this is fennel soap. So if you know what fennel smells like, it's like that licorice, right? Fennel. If you ever haven't cooked with it or used it, you can chop it up in sticks like celery and use it in dips, or just have it. But if you like licorice, you like the anise, if you like that, you'll like fennel. But the soap with fennel in it is actually very good if you're chopping up onions or chopping up garlic, any of that from that family. You can wash your hands with this soap, and it's supposed to take away the smell, that kind of stuff. So aren't herbs great? So there you go. You got cloves, you've got fennel, and we have that. So you ready for the sense of humor? Okay, so it's Christmas, and I get a gift from my daughter. Now, this is my husband's doing. He said he gave money to the children and said, go and buy some gag gifts, some joke gifts. And on the gift itself, my daughter writes, that's my lovely dog from the Fruit Loop box. Okay, Shadow, come. He thinks somebody's coming in now because the box dropped. Okay, Shadow, come. No barking. Yeah, he'll keep going. So this is a present, and I went to open it, but on the label it said, don't kill me, please. Right, so I don't know what it is, but it's the title, you know, these words. You know, she's 18, and we don't say certain words too often. You know, we don't. That kind of thing. It's like you don't talk about religion, sex, and politics because there's too many sides to the story for some of these things, especially for religion and politics. So I'm going to show you the title of this, and I had a good laugh, and I was, yeah, no, I'm not going to kill her. But I mean, don't use the swear words too often. Don't feel a need to it. So here's the title. So it actually turned out to be Healthy Chicken Recipes, but I'm going to let you see the title yourself. And yes, don't kill me, Mom. Yeah, that's the note on the thing. So here we go. Let's see if we can make it out. There you go. 50 ways to eat cock. Sorry, I'm just saying it because it's on here. Healthy chicken recipe with balls. So, yeah, the rooster, and so it takes every opportunity to use that word in the recipe. So once upon a time, it probably was used in recipes quite a bit. It probably was used, that name. It probably wasn't meant to be, probably wasn't used as rooster. It was probably used as that, as many other words were probably used. And it was, yeah, that's what you kind of called them, right? Anyway, it's a lot funny. And so I thought I'd bring that out. What else was I going to talk about today? I think that was it. So many things to talk about health. It's crazy. Just even in one day, I can get so many things to talk about. But humor, you know, humor is definitely, it really does loosen the tension in your body. And that's key. We want to loosen the tension in the body. And that's why people like to take baths, or that's why people will do relaxation meditations. That's why people will enjoy laughing or watching a funny movie, any comedy, anything like that. So laughter, the humor, obviously sometimes is at the expense of somebody else, but it's, you know, it's a way to kind of release the tension if you let it. Now, if you're just laughing because everybody else was laughing, but recognize when you are laughing that kind of releases the tension. But you could actually get that. I've been playing with this. You could actually get it with just a grin or a smile. You can feel it kind of wash over the body. So try kind of that, where you actually smile, like it's kind of a laugh. You just, you know, LOL, you're putting LOL in a message, and actually feel that LOL and just feel the tension melting away from the body. You use laugh out loud. Now try to turn that LOL into a physical feeling like you're having. And this is kind of a play on me talking about a video or two ago, where you actually take the feeling good, you know, when you're feeling good about something, whether you're at a party or whatever it is, you know, you've got this time where you're feeling really good, and you just take those moments to feel what that feels like, almost bottle it as a memory, and bring it up at other times. Not the times when you're angry at somebody or somebody's cut you off the car, but just when there's nothing much going on. You could be making dinner, you could be whatever, brushing your teeth. try to bring that feeling. That's the time to practice it when there's not much going on and you're just you and yourself, and you just practice bringing that feeling. Well, the grin thing with the laughter, if you understand how laughter makes you feel, it's kind of like almost like a belly thing. There's something there. Feel how that feels for you, and then try to do it with a grin or a smile, something like that. Take that feeling, package it as a memory, and then bring it forward into another time and space where you're just grinning at something. You might read something funny, you might see something humorous, you might, whatever it is, but you're not needing to do this full belly, you don't care to whatever, but feel, kind of bring that memory back of what a laugh would be for you, and just kind of, have that good feeling in the belly. But anyway, I think that's enough for today. The idea is feeling good, working towards being the best healthy you. Don't define it by any magazine, by any look per se, just little changes, little steps. And most people know that, the mind has a play on the health, right? The mind, body, spirit, I'll say connection. And this connection, this mind, the thoughts that you have, quite frankly, the thoughts of anxiety and worry, just being worried you're not going to be there on time, worried you're going to miss something, worried it's not going to turn out, whatever it is, worry. That will give you a different feeling, quite the opposite of the good feeling. And you can feel how that feels at times. You can have most of us will have a little worry comes in, and you can kind of play with what that feeling feels like, and have some sort of appreciation for people who may feel what they start labeling as anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that. To me, I'm just going to simplify it, and it doesn't really matter what other people will say to me about it, but I think it's worry with a whole other layer of it's just worry with a big W. Never mind, it can be worry all spelled in capitals, right? So it's just worry. We've really sometimes take these words, and over the years we have dramatized them into things and labels so that you can go and get meds. I got anxiety, but you really just got worry at the end of the day. It's worry. And worry is really, at the end of the day, you can't have worry without thinking about something that's happened in the past, right? It's all like past stuff. I was just playing with some words, so I'm going to leave you with this. One of the words I was playing with, which, because I'm bringing it into the Lessons in Nature workshop, is the timing, the now. You've heard this. Be in the now, embrace the now. Now is now. And so really, what is being in the now is, a lot of cases, most people, including me years ago, you kind of define what being the now is. I didn't know really what it was, being in the now. What does that mean? But that's part of the journey, is to figure it out, or to better understand it, or to evolve with it, to get to know it better. But if you spell now backwards, it's actually one. One as in you won. So now is you won. And I was thinking, well, if you've got now, if you're in the now, you have won. You have won a peace and relaxation. Like, you will just feel more peace when you're in the now. There's more peace to it. Now, in the now is also an opportunity to grow, to learn, to experience, to be creative, to be adventurous, to be seeing things with new eyes. So being in the now is, it's a full spectrum of things that might be different for different people, and might be different for me at different times. Absolutely. But being in the now, I think, is a lot more peaceful than or exciting than what some people may understand. It almost seems like for some people when I'm coaching them that it is a task, it is a chore, it is a job to be in the now. And most likely other things in our life will kind of take that how can I say it, kind of take that attitude as well. And so it's interesting how we can take any part of what's going on in our life, anything, and look at it, as they say, through a different set of eyes, perhaps, from a different angle, a different perspective. Yeah, all of those kind of things. So this is what I want to take nature. See, there's so much in nature that happens that brings it into the now. You can't argue with it. You can't look at it any different because it's right then and now happening, just part of it. And it's nature's a great teacher. I think I'm up to about 50 of them, but I'm only going to pick anywhere from 5 to probably about 5 at any one workshop to kind of go through, because we want to do some exercises around it, really play with these lessons. But that's where the gems come in. It's not just reading a book, picking up a book and reading it. Where the gems kind of come in is where you actually take that information and you apply it. You embrace it. You take time out for it. It's almost like you reading about a book about drawing and not picking up a pencil and drawing, and you become the teacher of drawing. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Why would you want to learn from somebody who's never done it? And I remember my grade 13 chemist teacher was actually a chemist by trade. He actually worked, this was a night school course, but he actually worked during the day as a chemist. And through the years in studying with different professors and teachers, one of the things that I got from that, it was kind of like a little bit of an aha moment, was any of the professors or teachers that I had, I would question or explore or read their bio to see what kind of practical, hands-on, in-life kind of experience that they had, that it wasn't just from the books. And it was interesting. Interesting. From meditation, I'm not going to say just the intellect or college or university, any of that, but just even such things as meditation and kind of what practical experience they would have in meditation. And, that was interesting. I'm going to talk about meditation next week. I'll make a note of it and I'll go talk about it next week. So, yes, peace, Ivan. So what is it, Angela? Thank you for sharing your research and experience. Always interesting to listen to. Well, I appreciate it. I really do. And I'm just trying to stay humble with any of this, because sometimes some of the experiences that are come in are how can I say it? It's almost like a joint. It's almost like a joint venture. There's certain things that come through some other people. They'll say certain things and it kind of trips an idea in my head. They may not know it. It's not something they would know, but it kind of leads to something else. That's what I'm going to say. So it's almost like, and then over the years, as we kind of capture more information, and then you can kind of, it's almost like putting a puzzle together. And you can see where things kind of come together. And where I saw science in a big way is that many of the scientists I spoke to, so you can imagine a company has supplement products and I'd be talking to the lead cardiologist that's promoting it, or the lead researchers that are down in Utah. Many of them are down in that way. And I'd be on the phone with them and I'd have all these questions, say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. What I learned from asking those questions in some ways is The scientists and the researchers can be very much in silos, very much in silos. And I get being in a silo, but I also look at as whole foods as well, where, you know, they find vitamin C is helpful for this, but you've eaten something to get the vitamin C, but forget about eating the orange and getting the vitamin C. Let's take the vitamin C out of the orange, and here you go. You got the same thing. It's vitamin C. And then the research doesn't show, hands down, that it's working like vitamin C for everyone. It's as simple as that. And so you have science over here, whatever science is. I'm not tabooing science, but you have science in their limited thinking, isolated silos, trying to bring together an isolated piece. It's almost like saying, let's just look at your kidneys when you have kidney disease and focus on the kidneys, and that's it. We don't look at the whole body and what's going on, or the whole picture of how you got there. So they're not analyzing the root cause of disease. I've said this before. They're analyzing the symptoms. They're analyzing the cancer. And if you analyze that, that's not the root cause. The cancer didn't cause the cancer. Did you see? The cancer didn't cause the cancer. What might be there doesn't actually have a correlation. It's like that simple example I've given, where you trip over a root or an uneven sidewalk and you fall and you bruise your knee. And the doctors are all looking at the bruised knee and going, well, you know, we can see it's the blood. The blood are coming, the blood's tore out of the veins or whatever, because there's more veins closer to the skin, and it's causing this bruise. It must be that. It must be the skin. We've got to strengthen the skin around there. It gets ridiculous, right? It gets ridiculous. So it's looking at the root cause. But if you're going to look through the lens at just the symptoms of what's going on, you're going to miss the uneven sidewalk forever and a day. And it won't matter how many degrees the doctors, how old the scientists, how long they've been doing the research for, it doesn't matter. Looking at the symptoms doesn't tell you what happened. Looking at the spilt milk on the floor isn't going to tell you what happened. Looking at the burnt muffin, it's coming out, that ain't going to tell you what happened, right? But if you look at the temperature and you look at the clock, you might be able to piece these things together. Too high, too long, stuff like that, right? So you kind of get where I'm talking about. This is very key. Tension is very key. This is very key. And really that's, and then some, is really the crux of the book, All Guts, All Glory. It's really, you're going to have the guts to read this book, but understand what's kind of going on in the guts that everybody's talking about. I'm simplifying that. Some very simple attitudes and simple ways of looking at it, so that you can see just how simple things are. And that when we make things complicated, we start using these big words. It's impressive. It's like intimidating, right? You have all these fancy words for all the diseases, for all the conditions. And I just say, hey, empower all of you out there. If you don't know what a big word is, ask them, what the heck is that? And listen, everything when it comes to the names of the conditions, if it has itis at the end, means inflammation. So colitis sounds like a big word, colitis. Yes, there's esophagitis, because you might not know your body parts, but hepatitis. How many people know that hep is liver, right? So they, instead of calling it liver, they call it all these fancy words, hepatitis. But colonitis was once written all in the medical books as colonitis. So you can see it's inflammation of the colon, right? Esophagitis, inflammation of the esophagus, right? Tendinitis, inflammation in the tendons. Arthritis. So all of these things are our, itis, and they should be able to explain to you got inflammation in. But things like depression and other things like that, you may, and I remember seeing this one research, they found inflammation in the brain. Go figure, there's inflammation in the brain. But there's more things going on. So that's just don't want to make you think that everything is black and white, but certain things are going to be caused by, many of the conditions are caused by toxins, chemicals, nutritional deficiencies, injuries, infections, and that's the body just kind of speaking to you through conditions called inflammation. And what else would there be? Injury, infection, toxicity. That's really kind of, slows down your processes, slows down your elimination. Toxins, nutritional deficiencies, which are the nuts and bolts. Like your car can be pulled apart. That's your nuts and bolts, right? Your wood, nails, things for your house, your home. So you have these things that are required in the body. Call it the building blocks, but it's more than that. It's the hormones. It's the things that communicate within your body, the hormones, things that move things, joints, bones, structure, like all of these things become built from something that you're eating, right? Something that you're eating. So that's where they talk about deficiencies from vitamins, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, proteins, amino acids, proteins, essential fatty acids, fats, all those wonderful things. So here I gone on a tangent. We've done a little bit longer than usual, but the idea is, people, it is simpler than you think. They've made it complicated. You're being marketed to. You're being lied to. You are, do you need to get angry about it? Not necessarily, but this is the thing that your choice, right, is to do something about it. Because the key thing here for everything is you have choice, right? So that's something that everybody here has, choice. Maybe some countries not so much, but the idea is you've got choice. Take advantage of the choice. Your dollars that you're spending will speak volumes to the people who are wanting to make money. End of story. They want to make money. What are they going to do? They're going to say no artificial flavors or colors on the Fruit Loop box in the product. That's what they're going to do, because the people are now going to look at it and say, well, I wasn't buying that before because I had learned this, and now I'm going to buy it, right? Or they're just going to feel better because now it says that. So feel good. You do things, and they might even say, well, yeah, you can have more because it's got no artificial flavors and colors. Who knows? All this thinking kind of happens out there. But anyway, best of health, everyone. And I guess by the next time I come on, it'll be the New Year. So we will speak at you, speak with you, hang out together next year. So whether you actually spend the time with friends, you spend the time with your best friend, you enjoy, however you want to enjoy your New Year's Eve. It's not a big deal for a lot of people these days, but it's do stuff that's going to make you feel good. Put on your favorite music, enjoy, plan a little bit less processed food from one week to next, or give me a call, send me a message. You just might get so much that you need out of one session that it'll take you further, and then you can just share, because I think as a practitioner, I want to be out of a job. I will say this, I've said this to practitioners that I've mentored. I want to be out of the job. I want all you guys to be healthy, symptom free. Yeah, you might have an injury, but you're going to know kind of what to do with that, with the herbals and rest, relaxation, whatever, ice, those kind of things. So yeah, I'd love to be out of a job. That would be my lead goal. That's my lead goal as a practitioner, is to actually not to have to do this anymore. I'll go into my photography, or, do some art, or, grow some trees, and who knows. But anyway, that's that for today. So everyone, until next year, again, best of health. Enjoy your day your way. Be the unique you that you can be. And that comes from all kinds of shapes and sizes, how you enjoy your time, how you uniquely feel good, what makes you feel good, all that kind of stuff. But take care, everyone. Bye for now. Until next year. Any questions, post them below. Any comments, post them below. There's lots of topics to talk about. Thank you for coming on. It's great to see everybody. Cousins and family and people I've known for a very long time. Hi, John and Joshua and Guy and Michael. Yeah, a lot of these people I've known for a while. And Marcia, thanks for the support. And pass the healthy news, pass the healthy news around. Don't mind you sharing at all. There's nothing in here that should be held. If we've got some good things to share them. So that's great. That's it. So take care until next year. Bye for now, everyone.